Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of The Birthday Party by Harold Pinter. The theme of the play is identity, paranoia, and the breakdown of reality, and the characters are Stanley Weber, Meg Bowles, Petty Bowles, Goldberg, McCann, and Lulu. And the play actually surrounds a person called Stanley Weber. This Stanley is a person who was once a very good pianist, but now he has no job at all, and he is in his late 30s, and he is staying as a tenant in the seaside boarding house, and the owner of the seaside boarding house are Petty and Meg Bowles. Petty and Meg Bowles are in their 60s and they are a married couple. Now before going to work, Petty mentions that two people asked him whether there is a room available in the boarding house, and hearing this Meg is very happy and she says of course there is there and bring them. And then afterwards what happens is after Petty goes, Stanley comes down, and Meg and Stanley are having a very good chat. In fact, it is very intimate also. And while they are talking, Meg tells to Stanley that two more strange men are going to come and stay in that boat. Now, till now, that is for nearly 1 year, Stanley has been the only person who was a boarder there. And now, when he hears that two strange men are coming there, he is immediately worried. And Meg says that she has to go do some shopping because two more people are going to come, and therefore she has to do shopping. So she goes out, and when she is going, a young woman called Lulu, she comes there, and Lulu comes with a very large wrapped package. And she comes inside the house, and Meg goes out, and Lulu comes and talks with Stanley, and she says, why are you so very untidy? You're not shaved, you're not wearing a decent dress. Why don't you come out so that you'll get some fresh air? But Stanley prefers to stay in the lodge itself, so he says, no, I don't want to come out of the boarding house. And then afterwards Lulu leaves, and after Lulu goes, two strange men, that is McCann and Goldberg, they come there, and seeing them, Stanley just goes off out. Now Meg returns, and she sees these two men, and she's so very happy, and she talks to them very pleasantly, and she says that that was the day where it is the birthday of Stanley. And so the two men, hearing this, they say, why not we throw a party, we three can plan and we can do it. And Meg is also delighted, and she says, okay, we'll have a birthday party for Stanley. And once these men go to their room, Stanley comes back in, and he says, no, this is not my birthday. But Meg says, no, this only is your birthday, and for that only I asked Lulu to bring a gift for you. And she gives that big package which Lulu brought, and she says, this is your birthday present. And so Stanley opens it, and inside there is a child's drum. And Meg takes the drum, and she uses the two sticks, and she produces music. And she asks Stanley also to accept the drum and start playing in it. When Stanley takes and starts beating, he becomes more and more aggressive, and he beats the drum as though he is really possessed. And that evening, Stanley meets McCann, and he also refuses to allow him, like McCann stops because Stanley wants to go out. He says, this is not my birthday, and he tries to go out, but McCann stops him from going out to the party. He says, no, this is your birthday party and you should not miss it. Now Petty enters, and he is also warmly chatting with Goldberg, and then he leaves for his chess night. Now Stanley attempts to convince McCann and Goldberg to leave, or at least to not and talk with them, and because he wants to be alone. But what happens is both of them start asking him so many questions, which are some are just general inquiries, some are accusations, and some are also absurd questions. And suddenly Stanley becomes so shocked, and then they announce that Stanley is dead. And so Stanley kicks Goldberg, and before McCann can smash him with a chair, Meg enters. Now Meg is dressed for the party, and so they all stop fighting, and they all drink and toast to Stanley because it's birthday. Lulu also comes and joins them, and soon Goldberg starts flirting with her. Then they decide it's a birthday party, so they should have some games. So they decide to play blind man's buff. And Meg is the first person to be blindfolded, and she finds McCann, and McCann is blindfolded, and he finds Stanley. And since Stanley is blindfolded, he tries to search for the other people, Now what they do is they place Stanley's glasses and this drum all on the floor, and Stanley, while he is searching for these people, he stamps the glasses and he smashes his glasses, and even he stands on top of the small drum and he falls down. And now he becomes so furious that he goes and he tries to choke Meg, and Megan and Goldberg try to stop him. Now the lights go off and Lulu also faints in fear because Stanley tries to rape her also, and Stanley carries her, puts her on the table, and now they throw the flashlight because it is dark and they can see Stanley standing over Lulu and laughing hysterically. And now it is Act 3 and it is the next day morning, and Petty is reading his newspaper, and Meg, who is still thinking about the previous party, tells him that Goldberg and Mickett ate all the breakfast, and Meg worries about what to give for Stanley because Stanley has not yet come down also. And when Meg brought him tea early that morning, Mecken had answered Stanley's from his room. So Goldberg enters and Meg leaves to the shop because she has to buy some more things from the shopping. And Petty asks about Stanley, and that time Goldberg says that Stanley had a breakdown. So Petty says, okay, then I'll call a doctor. But Mecken says that they have brought their all suitcases, and Goldberg insists that they will take Stanley with them to an institution. And Petty leaves, promising to return quickly, and he says, please don't take Stanley till I come back. At that time, Lulu enters and she speaks with Goldberg, and their conversation cryptically alludes to some encounter they had after the party. Now, Lulu thinks very low of Goldberg for taking advantage of her, and Goldberg insists that she only was the person who encouraged him, and he calls Megan to intimidate her until she leaves. And that time, Megan brings Stanley in. Now, Stanley is neatly dressed and is also clean shaved, and Goldberg and Megan make rapid fire promises about helping Stanley to get better and become successful. And when asked to speak, Stanley can only make some choked, non-verbal sounds. So he's not able to speak properly. And Petty returns and tries to convince them to leave Stanley behind. And he says that he will take care of Stanley. But Goldberg threatens him and they leave, taking Stanley with them. Now Meg returns from shopping and asks about Stanley. And Petty says that he's still in bed, which is actually a lie. And he also says Meg not to disturb him and so that he can take some rest. And Meg is very happy about the wonderful party they had the previous day, and she says that she was the most beautiful and the popular woman there, and here ends the play. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.